Would you look at that? We're back. It has been almost 2 years of me not doing this, and then on a random Sunday, I decided, you know what? Let me just do a couple of these again for no reason, and invite people who have been on and people who have not been on. But today, my guest is someone that I've known for such a long time. I thought back, and I think we've known each other since 2018, which is kind of crazy to say out loud. Makes me feel old, even though I'm not.
Holy!
But I believe you could change this because this is what I remember is that we met on Oxy's Recorded. But today, my guest is the one, the only Mason or Atlantic Justice. How are you today, my guy?
What's up, bro?
What's up, bro?
No, I'm doing good. It is crazy that it's been 2018. That is insane. What is it, 6 years?
It's gotta be, bro. I don't remember when the exact date was, but I just know it was in 2018, somewhere around there.
That is insane. Yeah, I know. It's been a long time. It was Oxy's. You're my final two.
Yeah, and I think I voted you off.
You did, boy. Yeah, you voted me out, you traitor.
Hey, man, game is game. I mean, you still voted for me to win at the end, but
of course. I'm loyal.
I was back when I was really ass at the game, but you know what? We take it. We'll get it.
We take those, right?
Yeah. So here I have, I believe, you were definitely in the community way before 2018. So you consider yourself like an OG of the community, I guess. So my question to you, also for people listening to this, I am probably going to be rusty at doing this because I haven't done it in so long. So that's just an FYI. But the question I usually ask everybody that have come onto this is, how did you get into the Minecraft Survivor community?
All right, well, I have the date in mind because it was a pretty special date. I've almost been here for 10 years, so it's a long time. Yeah, people complaining about how long I've been here, but hey, there's people who've been here longer than me. But it was July 31st, 2015 is the official day I joined. I don't know how many people are going to know this. I don't know if you know this. There was this original host called Epic's Adventure, or Dawson. Obviously, Quiet Benny started before him, but Dawson started his Minecraft Survivor. I found about it through him, and he had a fan battle on July 31st, 2015 that I entered. I can't recall everything about it. All I know is I had Minecraft for a month on my computer, and I didn't think I was that good. I ended up winning the whole fan battle event that had probably like 40, 50 people, so I'm pretty proud of that. You know, a month of Minecraft, winning it. But yeah, I've been here since July 31st, 2015. I entered through that fan battle, and I've been here ever since.
Okay. So that was during, I believe, the Skype days, was it?
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me about the Skype days, because I was part of the Skype days, but not from like the Survivor community. It was more of just like general game shows. I was never part of the Survivor stuff. So how was the Survivor community in the Skype days?
I wish I'd go back to some of those times, man. I'll be real. They were really fun. You had these big community group chats. Like, you know how Discord servers, you have your hub Discord. Like, it was a hub community server, and each chat had so many people in it. People would just advertise, hey, if you want to play a game, we're hosting at this time, this day, come on out. Add me as a friend or something, reach out, and we'll invite you to play. And there's all these different community chats, and then you could, obviously, since it's like Discord, you can individually message people, call them. It was just different, man. Skype, everything took place on main call. The only thing you could do was messaging. There was no way of communicating one-on-one unless it was through your camp chat. It was strictly just messaging. You could not go to different chats, which is something that Discord has really improved for the Minecraft Survivor community. But man, I would do a lot to go back to the Skype days. I miss a lot of people from there. But I still also keep in touch with a lot of people from there. Like there's people that I'm sure fans have heard of that they might recognize. I still have contacts to a lot of those people, but there are people that were out of my time. And I was also super young when I joined, so I wasn't able to get everybody's contact. But there's a lot of people that I have that I'm fortunately still able to talk to because we pretty much like grew up with each other. So Skype was really fun. I don't I would do so much to get back to that time, but obviously, time's gone.
Yeah, that's honestly crazy that there was no private like calls. I did not know that. Wow.
Yeah, the only private call was camp chat. Like you could go to camp chat and talk, but like you could not like if me and you wanted to go walk off to camp somewhere, you could not do that in the game.
That makes things interesting. Wow. Okay. I honestly wish I kind of was part of the Skype days because I've seen videos here and there where it's literally just people just vibing.
Yep.
Uh, it seemed like fun. So
Oh, very fun. It was more vibes. I thought it was more vibes
I
than it was
know that's. I mean,
ever
even
hard.
at the early like Discord days, it felt like it was just vibes.
Yep.
Now it's kind of just like a
Yep.
competition. Well, I mean, I guess makes sense as Survivor,
It
but like,
it definitely turned more into a competition. I think when more game elements were getting added, going off into private chats.
yeah.
I think Minecraft just improved where you could have better comps. I think the whole game changed when when everything moved to Discord.
So speaking of moving to Discord, how was that transition for you off of Skype?
Um, Man, I'll be honest. When Skype was making the transition to Discord, our community, I was not a big fan. I was so zoned in on Skype. I was like, do I really want to get Discord? I don't want to get Discord. I was against it. And then one of my original friends, someone who I wish I still had contact with, but don't have it anymore. They had to leave the community. Walker Stalker. I don't know if many people would know, but Walker and I were great friends. Me, him, and Danny, great friends. We talked almost every day. Walker was doing these GSE events for the Total Drama Minecraft crew. And I remember the only reason I got Discord at that time was to play those events because I also knew of Total Drama Minecraft, Strikeout. I knew of those games. And I always wanted to, get in that community. And that's the only reason why I got Discord. And then slowly over time, people just started to transition over to Discord. And I was like, I'm going to have to accept it. Discord's going to be the thing. And everyone left Skype. Discord was the new transition. However, even though it became the spot, I feel like there were a lot of people who got lost. And that's kind of the sad part about it, is there's people who I wish I still had contact with from Skype, as I've mentioned, that did not have the time to move over to Discord or weren't a part of that transition. So there were people who, I don't know if they were still around. I hope not. I hope they were like done, but there might have been some people who came back to Skype and been like, wow, where'd everyone go? And they probably don't know that it went to Discord. and but there's also some good things because then you end up finding these people like there was an old guy from back in the day, ST Taco, had no idea they had Discord, and they got Discord, randomly was in a game one day. I bet that was through a connection to somebody, but they were able to get back into the games. Other people who we've been able to get, I'm trying to think. I don't remember if Chris's season 1 was in Skype or Discord. I think it was Skype. Maybe it was Discord. I don't remember. But like getting people like that, I mean, we got our boy Bum Boy.
Oh my gosh.
Bum Boy made the cut.
I remember
Go Bum
that.
Boy.
I remember that season.
Yeah, that was a great season. But yeah, I think a lot of people, the move was difficult, but at the end of the day, I think it really did improve the community as a whole.
Okay. So now that we spoke about the origin story, I guess we can more so talk about the community. We'll probably just dive into your experience in it, and then we'll just dive into your thoughts about it. So when it comes to playing Minecraft Survivor, what's the diff? Because I mean, you and I both know, but what's the difference from back then till like now?
Uh huh. Well, I think there's a personal. I think there's a game way to approach this. A personal way. Back on Skype, I was 12 years old, man. I was a squeaker. I didn't know how to play the game. I just knew I had to stay loyal and not get voted out. I think I really started to understand the game when Discord rolled around and have a better understanding of how to blindside people, how to make moves, and how to do this and that for Survivor. I don't know, something about probably maturing over time with my age really changed my perception of the game. But for the community as a whole, playing from then to now, I mean, there's a lot of differences. First of all, the first game I ever played, the cast size was 8 people. I know you just hosted America with 8 people, but who the hell hosts 8-person cast these days? Barely anybody. I played a game where it was 8 people. It probably finished within 2 hours, maybe an hour. Comps were simple. Comps were, hey,
Mm-hmm.
take this shovel, go do spleef. Hey, sumatory, go do some sumatory. Hey, do this small parkour, and then you win immunity. Go dig up the most blocks in the sand pit. They were simple concepts like that, and unfortunately, as much as I was great at those challenges, I think I've fallen off a bit with the transition to what the new age is now, where it's, hey, go in, complete this minecart push, and then jump off this platform into the water, and then go under and over this parkour course. You have multiple elements and challenges now, where it's not just focused on one centralized idea. There's many ideas you have to do, like normal Survivor, where there's many ideas you have to do to complete the challenge. So it's changed challenges a lot. And the unfortunate part is they also take longer now. I don't know why. I don't know what the transition is, but they always seem to take longer. Games back in the day probably lasted maybe 4 hours max. 4 to 6 hours max for a decently sized game. But today it's like if you're hosting a 16-person game, they take at least 8 hours. I don't know why, but it's just how it is. Maybe the comps added to it. People are willing to give more time. I don't know. But there was a lot of transition. Also, just the people who were coming into the community, like from Skype. I thought a lot of the people who came from Skype were great players, and they were also great, having a lot of fun with. But once Discord became a thing and more communities and people became involved, there was definitely more personalities, more people who knew how to play the game and play games differently, and just a broader community, I guess I should say, than what we had back on Skype, which is really fun because then you don't know who you're playing with every game, which is what I think is fun. So,
Yeah. I remember back in the day, it was actually easier to win compared to nowadays. Not because of
yeah,
just like challenges and all that, but because I felt like back then for me, you could just win based off your personality, just how likable you were.
yep,
Nowadays it's like that mixed in with your gameplay. I feel like back in the day, you could have like the most dookie dog water game, but you could still win somehow based off people just liking you. But now it's
100%.
just like you have to have an actually good or decent game to win, which, I mean, for better or for worse, we'll see. I don't know. I mean, I enjoy it too. I enjoy both times, or like both eras. I think you could divide them like that.
Yeah,
But it was definitely more fun to play back then than it is now. But I feel like it's more like satisfying to play now if you do a good move or stuff like that. I guess. I mean,
yeah.
that's
No,
how
I
I view
completely
it.
agree with that. Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. Just because now I feel like the game has evolved so much that getting a move off or being able to do something like that, where it's just the times have changed, I think is way more satisfying. But I would do anything to go back to play some of the old games. So
Yeah, because like the max players was always like 12. Like I felt like it was just
exactly,
12.
exactly.
And now
It
it's
was a
like it
small
could be like
cap.
20 people. I'm like, bro,
I know.
holy.
I'm like, man, it's gonna take all day.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, there hasn't been, compared to back then, or maybe even like a year or two ago. It was like not too many unrecordeds to play anymore. So
Yeah,
that, I mean, it is what
I,
it is.
yeah, it's definitely changed. I guess in the community aspect, going off of your point, did you say there's not many unrecordeds right now?
That's what I'm seeing. I could be
Yes,
totally wrong,
yes.
but I think that's what
No,
I'm seeing.
I personally think my time in the community has not been as active as it was before. But just from what I see and what I know, I don't think there is a lot of people who are hosting unrecordeds anymore, and that's kind of a, I'm not sure where the community is going to go, but there used to be a lot of people hosting. I
Yeah.
remember on Saturdays, oh my gosh,
It
if
was
you
like,
got out early in a
yeah, you
game,
just go to a new
you
one.
could go play another one. Exactly. Everyone was
Yeah.
hosting on Saturdays, but I don't know. I don't know why people aren't hosting anymore. It is a lot of time and effort. But I just haven't seen a lot of unrecorded hosts anymore as there
hmm
used to be.
And to bounce off of that, I feel like the reasoning is I feel like people nowadays expect seasons to be such like on a big scale, I guess you could say, because
Yep.
of like improving builds, like with the new updates in Minecraft, people expect to have these top tier challenges and season themes and all that. And back then it was kind of just like, oh, normal Minecraft world. Here's some challenges and here's a tribal that I built in like a day. All right, here you go. That's a
Yep.
season.
Yep.
That's what it was.
Yes.
And I feel like people are like now more gravitated or more expected to have such a grand scale of a season, even for just an unrecorded, even recordeds too, to be honest, but mainly unrecordeds. But
Hmm.
that it's weird, but also cool how the community is evolving because I felt like now it feels like nowadays it's either no one hosts or occasionally like a couple once every couple months it's like you get a private invite from like a friend that you know
Yep.
in the community. It's like, yo, I'm hosting a invite only season. You want to hop in? And you'd be like, okay, yeah, sure. So that's what it
Yep.
feels like to me. But
Yes, I agree with that.
yeah, so transitioning now into recordeds, we're gonna talk about your experience in them. So what was the first one that you played in? And I'm talking about like an actual like series recorded, not just like a one episode type of thing.
Okay. Um, from my understanding, my first ever recorded should have been Kyle's. Um, I would argue that it could have been Lambo's when he was posting, but his channel got hacked, so a lot of those earlier seasons got cut. If it wasn't Lambo's, it was Kyle's, and I know Kyle's is still out there. Um, is that what else did you need with that?
No, I was just wondering what your first one was, and then I was gonna say,
Yeah.
was I guess my question could be like, how different is a recorded now from back then? I feel like that's a good because I feel like not a lot of people realize how easy recordeds were to record and edit back
Hmm.
then compared to now. Because
Yeah.
honestly, it's kind of like the same point that I made earlier. It's like people just expect editing or like seasons to be like really well edited compared to back then. Which,
Oh yeah, I know.
to be fair, there wasn't like too much editing back then, and it was kind of
Yeah.
just the normal. But I feel like people are just expecting like every episode to be like top tier, like they want to enjoy it, like our actual Survivor episode. I'm like, hold on, guys, calm down.
Yeah.
So,
Let's slow down there for
yeah,
a
let's,
second.
let's slow down a little second. And no, it's still Minecraft, and it's still one person editing. Like, calm yourselves a little bit here.
Yeah.
But so what was it like recorded wise back then compared to now?
Well, from a player standpoint, obviously the game was not as long. You could still do
Yeah.
a recorded where, oh, let me think of some old. Yeah, again, with Skype, there's no private chats. You only did messaging. So you didn't have to go off to different chats and have to wait for people to do messages. The only thing you had to go into a different call for was confessionals, and that was it. So time was taken down majorly. Again, comps were simple. It didn't have to have much time as a normal recorded today. Um, Casts were also smaller. They definitely took a little bit more time than unrecordeds, but uh, they would end at about like 7 to 8 p.m. if anything. Like maybe they'd start at like 10 or 11. They didn't start super early either. Um, and then from a production standpoint, I mean, with what tools people have now, like for myself with Anchorage right now, with tools that we have access to, they did not have back in the day. Like it was a simple record your screen, edit cool funny moments together, edit the challenge, edit the tribal, boom, there's an episode. That's all that you needed to do. There's no time to look into, oh, let's look into replay and let me get a cool shot of this.
Oh,
It's no, you are forced to work with
yo,
whatever you had. So you would see a lot of like pause screens or I'm trying to think of other errors that
no
people have. But like
F1. I feel like there was just the chat was
yes,
showing constantly.
exactly. Like you have all these things that you weren't aware of, and that's just from a production standpoint. Is you went with what you got, and obviously it's evolved over time with more tools, with setting more of a standard for how you want to present your recorded, how you want shots to look. I mean, it's completely changed. Recordeds now, I mean, they take a long time. That's why I don't play them that often anymore. Is you have to dedicate a whole day and a morning to it.
Mm-hmm.
I've been very fortunate. I've heard some rumors about 24 hours games. I have not been in one that's 24 hours. Gotten very close. So, thankful I haven't been a part of one of those experiences. But they take so much time. The challenges are more in depth. Obviously, you have time to go talk to people. Like you have 10 minutes to go talk to people around camp. Back on Skype, you just send a message for 5 minutes and get a vote. And that was it. There's just so much more elements to the game that you have to pay attention to with recordeds, and especially with editing too. There's more tools, like I said, that you have. There's more of a standard that you have set, so it takes more time to really look into what you want your product to look like, what story you're trying to tell, and just trying to build a good season that fits what you want to do. So yeah, there's been a lot of changes with recordeds.
Mm-hmm. even with casting, it's different. It's just straight up.
That too.
I don't even think there were interviews back then. It was just like you applied, and then either it was. I mean, it depended if you knew the host or not. I feel like if you knew the host, you're just kind of on, and if you didn't, they may or may not have just like gotten to know you in a call or something like that. If I
Yes,
remember.
I would say that for the most part would be true. I know there were a couple of games I had to interview for though.
Yeah, same. Apparently, I interviewed for
So
Oxys. I just can't remember. I thought I didn't, but he's just like, no, you did. And I was just like, all right, I'll take your word for it.
I
So
don't even remember. I know he wanted me on season 1 and 2. I think I probably interviewed for 1, but I don't remember ever doing it for 2 or 3. I think he just wanted me on. I knew him.
So 3 things from what you said. 1, go check out Mason's season when it comes out. Just wink, show. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, now.
Thank you.
And I forgot my other 2 points from that. All right, cool. Let's go.
Ace. Oh, we're so back.
We are so back. Oh yeah, no, I was gonna say. I have also experienced those 24-hour seasons, and I've also hosted one, so that's totally fine. I'm not suffering. So transitioning. We're gonna now get to records that you also have played. Just like specific ones. So let's get into the T segment. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I want you to say, what was your favorite recorded that you played in, and why? And then I want you to transition to what was your least favorite recorded that you played in, and why.
Okay. Trying to think of all the ones that I've done. My favorite one, probably none of the earlier ones. I would think it's got to be one of my recent ones because the last 2 recordings that I've done, Soccer's and JP's, have definitely been amazing experiences. I think it would have to be JP's. Obviously this is going on the standpoint of what's out right now.
Yeah.
But with JP's, I mean, man, that was my first recorded that I did, I think since Oxy season 5 maybe. Actually, there were 2 I think I did in between Oxy season 5 till then, but they were unrecorded. I mean, one just never finished. The other one was a person that a lot of people know of and don't speak of. But won both of those, by the way. So I would have had a win featured, but season didn't come out. But definitely my favorite was JP's. That's the first true recorded I had promise in. Since Oxy's that would come out. Not only, I just thought the cast was amazing. I think JP and production did an amazing job on their casting. They casted so many great people, and it sucks because I think the one thing that I kind of utilized was connections for that season, which kind of does suck because you don't want to completely rely on connections. But I was me and Dizzy have always been friends for a while. I didn't get to talk to Chris or Sooner since a couple years. JP and production I didn't get to talk for a couple years. Like we would talk to each other, but like we didn't talk every single day. So I didn't get to talk to a lot of those people for such a long time, and being brought back into recorded just felt it just felt amazing. The whole experience was great. Challenges were awesome. JP's a host that I think if you want to apply to a season, go apply to JP's because JP has such cool ideas, and I know he put so much time into the season. JP's definitely the one that I had my favorite experience in, just because I got to see a lot of people. I got to meet a lot of new people too and make stronger connections. So that was fun, and I got my highest placement of 7, I think. Yeah, my highest placement of 7. So we'll take those. My worst recorded.
Oh, that's you. No, I'm kidding.
My worst record. I mean, it's probably there's no bad recorders that I had.
That's a good thing.
Does it have to be released or no? Probably released, right?
If you say unreleased, just don't say. Just be like, it's one I can't talk about, basically.
Well, it's one of those. No, whatever. I'll do unreleased. I'll do released.
Okay.
Probably. I mean, just for the simple fact, it was probably Chris's, and it's nothing against Chris at that time. Nothing against Chris, the season, the cast, whatever. Everyone knows I quit the season.
Do you want to get into why you quit the season? Because I feel like not too many people know that.
Well, okay, so let's talk about it. Season's supposed to start at like 10 to 11 a.m., right? And For people who don't know, that cast was 12 people. And if anyone watched Kyle's season 2, I'm Spy Guy or Weston was on the cast. But this dude had a phone, or they had a job interview that he had to go to, and we were waiting on him to start the game. And oh my God, this guy took 2 hours. I'm not even kidding you. I'm pretty sure it was 2 hours, and we had to wait for Weston because no one else was on to play the game. And then finally, Chris, I spoke to Chris before this. I knew this was going to be Chris's last like attempt at doing a season because he did a few more before. And if this didn't work, he was going to be done. And obviously, Chris, a great friend of mine. I don't want that to fall back on Chris. So I said, Chris, I know I have to leave. I have a dinner at like 5 that I have to go to. Obviously, I was 12 or 13, so I couldn't get out of it. So I said, Chris, I'm going to have to quit eventually, but I'm here so then we can start the season and then you can get a season to go. And that's when Weston was replaced by Nathan, and we were able to host the season. I had to quit because I had to go leave for dinner. So yeah, that was a big reason. Again, I think the reason why it's my least favorite is not. I was playing with all my friends. Like everyone in that season was pretty much a friend group besides Nathan and I get technically Andrea and okay. Let me rephrase. Nathan was the only one I didn't know coming into that, but everyone else, like I knew of Bunboy. I spoke to Bunboy a little bit before that, but like Andrea and Strat would always play Miller's games back in the day. Like I had a lot of friends on that cast. I think the only reason it was my least favorite is because I just had to quit. I knew I had to leave.
Yeah, that's fair.
So yeah, that's probably that's the only reason why I'd say it's my least, but it wasn't a bad. I think it was really fun in the moment, especially pissing off Miller. Oh my God.
I feel like I gotta ask this question because I feel like many people are gonna be like, "Oh, Mason was in Chris. What's gonna be like?" I need to know more about Chris's or stuff like that. So ask one more. Did you think playing in Chris's that his series would be like one of the biggest in the community? Or did you think it was just gonna be like, "Oh, there's another friend asking me to play. I'm just gonna play it and then move on with my life"?
For me, when the term recorded was anytime the term recorded is put in my mind, I always have good thoughts about it. I never thought it was just Chris asking me to play it recorded. I knew there was business had to be done. I was playing a Survivor, like I was gonna lock in and play Survivor. I didn't know if Chris was gonna be able to compete or have a name like Dawson or Kwai Vinny. But at the time I didn't think that, but. There was a lot of times after the season, me, Chris, Dizzy, maybe Kyle was there too. I know me, Chris, and Diddy did a lot of Dizzy. Uh-oh. Dizzy.
Oh, hey, ain't no party like a okay.
Hey.
Yeah.
Okay. Me, Chris, and Dizzy would do some production calls, as we call it. I'm saying a lot. Yeah. But we would all have, like, I would work on homework. Dizzy probably work on homework. Chris would work on his recorded and homework as well if we had to. And I knew from there with the passion that we had with those work calls that we would do with each other and the passion that Chris had for the series, I knew there was I knew Chris had a good shot of becoming a main host. Especially after hearing about season 2, season 3. I didn't view it as just a friend asking me to play. I viewed it as a recorded, and I viewed it as Chris's passion project, and I got to witness it firsthand by seeing the editing and Chris going through it step by step. So, yeah, I think I never saw it as just a friend asking me to play.
Yeah, that's cool, though. That's really cool. So, now speaking of recordeds again, I feel like we should dive into this in terms of, like, production, because I know you've hosted. Yep. You've been a part of productions before. So, what do you think? I mean, we're speaking of recordeds nowadays because we've talked a lot about the past now. So, in terms of production nowadays, what do you think hosts, because you've been a part of a lot, what do you think hosts or production teams in general look for in people that they want to play in their seasons?
Okay. So there's people to play or people to help host. Did you say help host or just play?
No, just play. Like in their season. I know it's like, it differs between host and host because everyone has their own opinion, but like just like an overall like major opinion, I guess hosts can have. Like what's an aspect or like a type of player that hosts like to like look at for their seasons?
Yeah. I will say, I think this is, I think a common trend that I see, and I personally believe should be a main focus of casting, is just being yourself. I know it's easy to say that, but literally, there's a lot of people who are just able to get through the interview stage and have a chance at being on the cast for just being themselves and being a good personality, being a character. I'm not saying you should go ahead and fake it all, but I truly prioritize me, especially when I'm pitching for someone to be on a cast. I prioritize, man, this person's going to be really fun to see. They're going to be awesome to go on the island. They have great energy. Great energy is another big one too. If you go into an interview with lack of energy, it's not going to go well. Go with a lot of energy. You know, show the excitement that you're wanting to play the season. That is something I think a lot of hosts looking for is who has the energy and who wants to play. Who can we rely on to keep us going as hosts when the season gets down? Like we want people with energy, a good mentality. Um, Also, again, the whole personality thing. Yes, game is important, but I do think it relies on personality. I'm gonna be honest. When I when there are interviews conducted, I'll be real. I don't like asking the questions about game. I think it's one of the. I get that you get a understanding of how they'll think about the game, but you're giving a hypothetical situation. But when you get out on the island and playing the game, 99% of the time it's not going to go the way that you expect it to. So I'm not a big fan of asking the game questions. But I know it's a big thing for hosts is to get an understanding of how you are as a game player. I like to focus more on who you are as a character, and a big one that I've learned, especially through college, is storytelling. Being able to explain the story and talking very, like I don't do a good job at this, but talking efficiently and smoothly, telling a good story, laying out the ideas of laying out what's going on in your game and telling a story, I think is huge because that not only gives us a picture of or it not only gives us an example of how you're going to be in confessionals, it also really it helps us because when we're lacking content, we need something to just fill in. Like people who could tell a good story, most of the time, if you tell it right, you're probably going to get like more screen time because it's so storytelling is so big, especially these days, because you want to tell the story of what happened that round. And I don't know. I think storytelling is the biggest component of Survivor, and I think if you can lock down how to tell a story, I think that sets you apart from other people.
All right. So my next question is also about being on production, and it's what's your favorite part on being on like a production team? Not as a host, just like on a production team in general. Is it like the
Hmm.
casting, the interviewing, the filming, or just watching the people that you wanted to put on play the season? So what's your favorite and why?
I think the best part for me is you really grow with your production team. I've been on a few production teams where man, we just grew. Like we would call every night, even if it wasn't about the season. We were still calling and just talking and becoming real good friends. I think there are great examples of this with some production teams out there. But just being able to grow together and be confident in the product that you're all working on is so impactful and huge, especially on game day when things are going wrong. Like you're all in it together. And I think that is the best part about being on a production team is building those memories with the people you're working on. So then whenever the final product comes out, man, you just feel accomplished because you all worked on it. Even if you aren't, the main host, you all worked on it. You all feel accomplished. You're all happy with the product you made. I know it's not an individual part. My favorite part of the casting process or the whole game process is casting, and that's just because I get to meet new people and get to see a lot of different people that I normally wouldn't be able to see without playing or casting as much. I really like casting and seeing people for who they are, suggesting ideas for cast. That's my favorite part. But building that relationship with the product you're all working on is definitely the best part about being on a production team.
And I completely agree, and that's something I didn't even think of too. And I've been on a bunch, and I've have hosted a bunch, but I never even thought of that. And it's true because I mean, for a majority that I've been a part of, and my team in general, it literally was well, excluding my first season because it was just me and Light. But the other ones, it was just basically we. This is let me clear some air here because I know people are just like, oh, well, you just hosted with your friend group, blah, blah, blah. I didn't meet any of these people other than Light until I hosted. And then they just joined my production team, which I feel like that's a common thing if you do multiple seasons. If you're
Yep.
like if you're chill with someone on the cast and you know they're like trustworthy and all that, they usually just get on your production team out of nowhere and they just stay there.
Yep,
They
I
just won't
agree.
leave. No, I'm just kidding. But I feel like it's true though, because at least in my you know experience, it was like my team and I, which a majority of them I know pretty well now. We literally, it was kind of like a on and off thing where it was just like once the season was done, we would just VC here and there. But when a season was on, it was like almost every single day. And like you said, it was like either about the season or sometimes we would just join thinking we're gonna do something for the season, and then we just did not a
Yep.
single thing for it at all.
Yep.
Decided to play games or like just talk in general. Like it was, it's funny. I never really thought about that, but it's totally true. Like we would just join and not do anything.
Yeah, I know. Those are the best days.
And those were
You
the best
grow
days. Yeah,
as a
it
group.
was, yeah. And that's you've been a part of it. I've been a part of it personally, so I feel like that is a super underrated part. And I feel like for anyone wanting to start, that is definitely a great way. I will ask you about you know your personal opinion or advice for people who try to or like want to start their own thing. We'll get into that, but never really thought of that. That's actually insane. And um, I kind of have to agree with you that casting is probably my favorite part as well. So
Yeah.
especially
'Cause, yeah,
interviews.
it starts with casting, and
Yeah.
then I mean, it does play a role. Like you pick who you want on, and then you get to see it play out. Yes, that is like the ultimate goal, best part, but like it all roots from casting.
Hmm. I completely agree. I've two things for me is what my favorite part is definitely casting. Because one, you never know. Because I feel like I said earlier, I feel like with every season you grow close to at least one or two people from that season, and then they just
Yep.
join your group. It just happens. I don't know how. I don't
It
know why. It
it
just
just does.
happens. It just does.
It really does.
And that's my first thing. And then as a host, which my editing sucks. I'm gonna keep it real. Every host will say this full
Yeah.
heartedly.
Yeah.
Editing is the worst thing ever. But the thing after, I feel like the best part of it is seeing people reacting to that season that you put so much time and effort. Because
Yep.
trust me when I say that, even Mason knows because he's hosted his own now and is starting editing. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Go check it out. Is that editing is literally like you have to sacrifice everything that you're doing just to sit down and edit a simple scene. Like it could be just
Yep.
like a scene of camp time, and you have to focus. It depends on what you do, because we said earlier about like replay mod, which which host decided to bring that into the equation. Respectfully, I hate you, but also thank you. But I feel like hosts or just editors in general, because I know there's been people who've edited other seasons for the hosts, but like I feel like
Yep.
editors in general need more credit than they
They
deserve.
do.
Because it really does take hours upon hours just to get one season out, even just one episode out. To be honest, it takes
Agreed.
a ton of effort. Um, I mean, we get criticism either way. Like you get praise for a single episode, or you get criticism for the episode saying like it's boring, blah blah blah. Like
Yep.
it sucks, but at the same time, you have to accept it. It's just what comes with editing.
It's the unfortunate deal.
It is the unfortunate thing that happens with it, but also got to keep in mind that we don't have to do this. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's
I
all
mean,
I'm
as
saying.
long as you're happy about the product, then I mean,
Exactly.
no one could be pissed at you for it, which is
Literally.
something I believe. You could say whatever about what I put out, but I know that I'm happy with it,
Mhm.
and that. There's nothing that can bring me down with that.
Yeah, and exactly. At the end of the day, it's just a hobby for us.
Exactly.
It's just a passion
Exactly.
project, basically. So yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. So my next question to you, which I talked about a little or touched up a little earlier on, is for people who are listening to this who want to start their own recorded. What advice would you give to them? And this is like, I guess, actually no, just in general. I was gonna have a specific example. I feel like that's not really fair. I was gonna say for people who are like completely on their own in the community with like people they can't rely on for cameras and all that, but just overall in general. What's your advice to someone who's trying to start their own recorded?
All right. Well, I'll go. There's a couple ways I'll approach this. So the first one is looking at who's posting now. I'm not gonna be certain. There are still hosts that are around, but I do think the recorded side of the community is falling off a little bit. I don't think people are hosting as much. So if you do want to start your own recorded, do it. I mean, I would love to see the community keep going on when I'm done. So just do it. If you want to host recorded, do it and try it. There's no hate for not trying it. I mean, if you have that passion for it and if you really want to do it, do it. I mean, there's no reason not to. It's you make the most of what you want in this community, and I think if you want to try hosting, I would try it. I'm not a good host. I mean, for me, I can't talk very well, but I love the idea of hosting. You just got to do it and see what you like about it, and maybe you keep going, maybe you don't, maybe it was just a one-time thing. But if you really do like it, you could take over, because there's a lot of people who I think are starting to. I think there's a lot of room for more hosts to join the recorded side of things, and I think a lot of the fans would really appreciate it. The other side of it, with recorded, I mean, you have to accept if you're trying to start out, not everything's going to be perfect. If you plan to host more seasons, try out your first season. Get a cast that you appreciate. Do the builds the best that you can. You don't have to worry that your season doesn't look like somebody else's season, because it's your season. It's how you want it and how you planned it. It's not you don't need to compare yourself in your season to other hosts, because that's not fair, and that no one should be thinking about it like that. B, you're gonna learn as you go on. I mean, I know when I hosted unrecordeds in the past and hosted on a recorded, you learn as you go. And even if, like, looking at the quality of things, someone that I've talked to, I think a good example, I think, is Soccer. I think I've talked to about, from season 1 to where he's at in season 3. Even though your season 1, like, might have had a lot of hiccups or it didn't go the way you wanted it to, there is still a lot of room to grow, and I think Soccer has grown over time as a host. And I think it's just, you're going to make mistakes, accept it, and learn from them. Don't let it drag you down, because the more you do that, more that really affects you mentally, and that's something that no one should ever have to go through. But really, it's if you're passionate about it, do it. It may not be good. You may only have one camera to use, but at the end of the day, if it's a product that you feel happy about putting out, do it. I would recommend it, because I think hosting's super fun. Especially, I used to be so focused on playing. Now that I'm on the production side of thing, I think it's way better than it is playing sometimes. So give it a shot.
Yeah. Holy crap, that's so real. In my opinion, I also completely agree with you. At least for me nowadays, it's definitely more fun to be on production now.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You see everything just go and work out. It is so cool. But editing is hard. That what we were talking about with editing is hard. I personally tackled a recorder to see what I've learned from college and how that would translate over to editing. Obviously, I am a busy person. I have worked on it, not as much as I should have, but it's still something I know I'm going to get out. Editing is hard, but don't let it get to you. One thing that one of my players has told me is, if you're really passionate, that's amazing. Like, work off of that passion. But if it feels like it's a job, or you feel like you have to get this done, or it's like really chipping away at you, take a break. Don't edit. Don't let that get to your mind, because then that's really going to make you start to not like the season. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. Like, I was editing for a while, and then it started like really getting to me. But that player told me, hey, you'll get it out eventually. Just don't let it get to your mind, because we all have things to be focused on. So, yeah, it's hosting super fun. Try hosting, do it. Post production could be a little bit wishy washy, but as long as you get the product out that you're happy with, then no one can complain.
Mm-hmm. I agree again. I'm just an agree machine right now for some reason. I've been like, yeah, I got you. Yeah, I agree. I've been like that the entire time, which I guess I agree. But I completely Jesus, I can't. I completely agree with what you're saying.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah. Just to add on to that, I also editing, like you have said, is not fun. Like no way to sugarcoat it. It's really not. It is fun to see your end product once you watch it all back, though. That's the fun part sometimes.
Yes.
But yeah, literally, like he said, if you're starting to do your own season and edit, or you're in the editing process, and you're feeling like you're just getting burnt out, or you feel like you're just not having fun, you feel like it's a job, like you said, it is definitely the smart move to just take a break and do your own thing, and don't even think about editing or just Survivor or like Minecraft Survivor
100%.
in general, because
100%.
you will get burnt out. I've been burnt out before editing, like severely burnt out. I almost decided to like quit in general, like my second season. So is it the smart move to just sit back and just not even worry about editing and all that? Because at the end of the day, it's not like you're on a deadline. It's not like you're trying to please anybody. It's your own thing. So just think about it like that. It's not a job. It's a hobby. So just
Yep.
to clear that up. And also, my advice for people, I think I might have said this before. I can't remember because it's been like almost 2 years at this point, me doing this. But I think I've said, if you're trying to start, I would start hosting unrecordeds first, just to,
Oh,
get the
good
vibe.
point.
Yeah, just to get like the vibe of hosting in general. Because I feel like if you just dive into or in a recorded, you don't have too much experience. And also, I feel like, unfortunately, just to keep it real, like 7 or 8 times out of 10, it's going to fail. Just to keep it real.
Yep.
So I feel like if you gain at least some hosting experience, then that will transition into you trying to do recording. You'll at least be somewhat professional. And like you said earlier too, seasons ones, don't expect them to be masterpieces. I mean, of course they can be. You never know, but like usually, it's your that's your process of growing into another season if you want to do that. But I would say have high hopes for your first season, but don't expect it to like be like the best thing ever that you've ever made in your life. Because obviously, you see this with every host. Actually, like the editing isn't as good as their next seasons, because obviously they've improved upon it, or they've heard stuff from like players that played in it, or like other just friends in general telling them like you should change this because it'll make this look better. Blah 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 blah. Like I feel like um season one will be your stepping stone. I feel like that's a good
Yep.
way to like
Yep.
put that into words. So now moving on from that, I guess we'll talk about the community, I guess, a little bit, just a little bit.
Okay.
uh, so you talked about earlier how you think the recorded scene is low key falling off just a little bit. So do you think the community in general, not just recorders, but like both unrecorded and recorded wise, do you feel like this community is going to just kind of keep falling off, or do you feel like randomly it's just going to spike back up like it has in the past?
hmm I should preference that the reason I said that they're recorded has fallen off. I think it is because people have taken a lot of time to edit and prepare their seasons more, which is why
Yeah, yeah.
there's not many coming out. Um, I also will say I think within the last few years I really have not been in touch with the community. I've only kept in touch with people that I talk to
Mm-hmm.
from the community like every day, and even then, none of us really keep in touch with the community. Um,
Yeah.
so I I think the community's kind of at a state where we talked about it earlier. I don't know many people hosting unrecordeds any day. I don't want to say the community's dying. I would really don't want to say that. I do think it's in a phase where especially on the unrecorded side, someone's got to take over. People need to take
Mm-hmm.
over and step up and start hosting if they want the community to keep going on. Obviously, it's their choice. If people want the community to keep going, someone's got to step up and host and try hosting for the first time. Uh, I I don't know. I don't know if people are willing to do that, but I think that is one way I'd feel more confident in the community being around longer. But since there hasn't been that many people doing unrecordeds, I think it also prompts people to go to orgs on Discord
Mm-hmm.
and play those, as well as I think with the addition of Bedrock and being able to do cross-platform games, I think that also does take away from new people who would typically be joining this community, are going to Bedrock and playing because it's easier for parents to allow a little kid to get an Xbox or PlayStation. I mean, a PC, whoa, it's a big deal. I think it's easier for parents to give them an Xbox and a PlayStation, gives them Bedrock, and now they can cross-platform, or they can play those games built through there, which I think that community's been kind of growing a little bit compared to ours. That's my speculation. But I think the PC community might be dying a little bit. I don't want to say that, but I think there's got to be new hosts to step up and new people who are willing to keep hosting. Then again, this is only from a perspective of an outsider. I don't keep in touch with the community. I'm doing this from a survivor standpoint. I do think there are other communities. I think a big one like GSC who continues to host. But I don't know if a lot of people from this community like to play those games. I don't know if people would be open to play some of those more comp-based, fun. I don't know. I don't know what exactly to describe them. They're unique kind of games. They're not like Survivor. At least from my perspective,
Yeah.
I don't see them as a Survivor community. I see them as like a really fun, new type of game shows, that people may be interested in. I don't know. I also just feel like people can't compete with GSC. If I'm being real, you
Yeah.
throw me in a game with GSC people, like I'm getting my butt whooped because they are amazing at competitions. Yeah, I think it is. I think the Survivor side might be dying a little bit.
Yeah. And to touch up on that as well, I was actually talking about this topic quite a bit ago with the one and only Shilling Cool. I don't know. Didn't expect. I know he's watching
Oh,
this. I guess he didn't expect his name to be dropped, but we were talking about this a little bit because he DM'd me about it after we were in a VC randomly together, and um, he was like, "What? How do you feel about the community or like where it's going?" And I'm like, I think I kind of agree with you. I think it's slowly kind of dying, but I said to him that I think it's in a plateau stage where it's kind of just flat. Because what you
yes,
said was, I think a majority of hosts right now, I think it's kind of like two things. It's either hosts are getting older, not really worrying about this, and are just starting to
yes,
like retire, or right now it's kind of where like all hosts have just recorded a new season and they're in the editing process, so that's why there's nothing really out right now.
that's true.
I know at least maybe four or five off the top of my head right now that have been recorded but haven't been put out.
Yep.
So that's why I say it's at a plateau. I feel like summer next year, or just next year in general, I feel like recordeds are all of a sudden just going to be like,
That's true.
a thing.
It is kind of an off season with school starting back up in the fall.
Yeah, I mean, like, don't get me wrong. There's still stuff coming out right now. I think I
Yes, there
literally
is.
just saw today from a ping that soccer's uploading.
Yep.
I also know that Joker is, and I know a couple others here and
Yep.
there. So I know there's stuff still coming out, but I feel like a majority of like hosts who've just started, or like not just started, but like have hosted already a season, or like still in their editing process right now.
That's
Um,
true.
and I think it's going to come out by next year. Um, so I do agree. Honestly, this is my opinion. I think unrecorded scene is dead. I think
Yeah,
it's just
it's
completely dead.
unfortunate because
Uh,
I don't know anyone that hosts
Me
them anymore.
neither.
Like I feel like I would have heard about it,
Same.
but again, you've said this too. The only time ever get invited to play games is when, or anytime if I ever am to hear about a game, it's when I get invited, and it's not often.
Yeah, same. Literally. I would say, uh, yeah, it is unfortunate because I feel like the community is dying. But then again, don't take our words for it because I feel like me and you are not the type of people who are really connected to that
Oh yeah,
unrecorded community anymore.
I've been
Uh,
checked out for years.
but like I've seen, like I go into ads channels occasionally because like I have to, say, oh, new episode dropped of my stuff or whatever, and I don't see
Mhm.
any unrecorded ads whatsoever.
Yep.
So that's just what
Yep.
I've been seeing. I don't know if it's true or not, but that's just what I've been seeing. So yeah. So to move on, um, I guess this is going back to another record question of being about on production. Do you feel like newer players have a better shot of getting on seasons than like veteran players?
Yes and no. It depends on the host, I would say. Uh, because I think with veteran players, like having that name is cool to have on your production or on a cast. But me personally, I love seeing new people play. Not necessarily new people. For me, when I think of new people, I think of I do think of traditional rookies, but with the season that I hosted, obviously it hasn't completely come out yet. Still working on it, but I know anytime I try to cast for games like that, I always try to find people that I've played games before, like my in a couple orgs I play on Discord. There's people who I really want to like. I would love to see them play a Minecraft game because I want to see what they could do. Like getting people like that where they're new to Minecraft. They're not necessarily new to orgs or to Minecraft or to Survivor, but they're new to like Minecraft. I think is very cool. I also think just giving new players a shot is always a great thing. It gets more people involved within the community, and I think there's a lot of hidden talent that may be out there. Um, I will say though, with veteran players, I do think there's a risk to casting a lot of them because that brings up with previous connections. They might have connections from previous games or whatever. People might already know about them. It's not. I don't think it's good to have a lot of veterans. A lot of people who play a lot, I should say, on the cast. Especially, I think a topic that I've had to talk about with some hosts is casting when people are hot. Hot as in they've played like 3 or 4 within the last, I don't know. They've been in a lot of the recent recorders that have been out. I don't think it's smart to keep casting people and over. I get that people want to keep playing, but I don't think like I don't know of a good like I remember when I tried to apply for a recorded after I played JPs and Soccers, I was actually put as a backup. If not, I didn't make it to the next round or something because I've been playing 2 recently, and I was like, I understand that. Like, you don't want me to be showing up on every single season. It kind of gets boring, and it kind of takes out of that surprise and excitement for a certain player. So I think having people sit out for a recorded is a good thing. I don't think you should be casting people when they've played 3 or 4 recordeds within the last year of them all being released, because then I don't think it brings that much excitement to a cast like that. I don't know. That's just my take on it, but I do believe that casting a lot of new people is smart. New people that haven't played, people that are also from different communities that have never touched Minecraft, I think are great additions for a cast because they know the game of Survivor, but they've never played Minecraft. And people who have never played a Minecraft Survivor, they probably know about Minecraft, they just never played Survivor. So I think you could diversify the cast big time with a lot of new people.
Yeah. Once again, I completely agree. I also just want to say off topic. I mean, I guess it kind of relates to like players who have played in multiple things. Kind of a little bit. I'm stretching it, but like a majority of hosts or on production or people on production are connected, or have just been on multiple productions. And this is just I don't know why I'm saying this because it just came to mind randomly. But there's people who like apply and they think, oh, let me just use the same application video for every single one.
Yeah.
And it's really funny because I don't know if they expect to like, that's gonna work or whatever. But 9 times out of 10, everyone knows that you've been using the same exact video. I don't know why that came to mind. I just wanted to say that for some reason. But it's so funny to see like multiple people like doing that because I know, for instance, I think with Andrew's newest season or mine, I can't remember which one it was, but I was talking about someone's application video, and then all of a sudden Oxy comes in because he hosted his quite a while back, and he's just like, "Oh yeah, they did the same exact thing." I was like, "Oh, what?" Oh, God. So that's just an off-topic thing, but I completely agree with what you said. So now that it's almost been like an hour, I'm gonna hit you with some like random, like completely random questions, kind of like a lightning round. You don't have to answer it fast, but like just random questions here and there.
Yeah.
So my first one to you is, how did you create your username, AtlanticJustice?
Oh my gosh, I've been asked this before. So originally, when I got my Minecraft account, I was actually called Mason 2015 Murphy. Murphy is not my last name. That was my first ever name. But actually, it originates from Xbox, where when we were trying to make my Xbox name, I didn't know what to put, okay? So my initial thought was like, what sounds cool? Like Shadow Pixel sounds cool. Like random stuff that just worked together. And my dad's like, no, it's stupid. So I was like, okay, how about? I was like, I don't know. Shiny Hunter was my PlayStation name. So I was like, what if I did like, I don't know, Justice sounds cool. I think that'd be pretty cool. So I was like, Justice would be cool. What goes in front of it? And then I just randomly thought of the Atlantic Ocean. So I just went, oh, I'll do Atlantic Justice. And then from there, it's been like that. I literally just put two random things together, and that's how I got my name.
All right. Next question. Uh, what are moments in a record that you have played that were never shown that you wish were shown, if you can remember?
So for one, I'll go to the two that I've won. Oh, in an unrecorded or like
No,
in a
recorded,
recorded?
recorded.
Okay, that just didn't come out, right? Or moments in a recorded that have been released.
Yeah.
Okay.
That were never shown. That were just never shown for some reason.
Okay, let me think. That's a good one. Um, Man, that is a good one. Um, Moments in recorded that that weren't shown. I don't know if I've had any.
Oh, wow.
Maybe
You're just
me
that guy
trolling
then,
the
I guess.
host.
Holy.
I don't think I've had like any like bad moment. Like I don't think I've missed anything. I guess one thing. No hate to JP. There's a tribal. It was Pigeons Tribal. There was a lot of stuff that I felt like I did during Pigeons Tribal. Maybe it just wasn't because maybe I was completely wrong. But I remember I got told that Pigeon was voting for me, and I remember there was this whole freak out scene with like me and Chris, and then we were panicking, and then we were just trying to make sure everyone was on board. The vote was a little bit more scrambled than it was. I think it may have been in the edit, but again, no hate to JP. It worked for the story, but there was so much more scrambling, which I thought would have been funny to show.
All right. Bet. Next question. What do you think about the real show Survivor?
Um, I've watched this last season. Currently, when this is coming out, 47's coming out. I think it's probably my favorite season of the new gen. Keep in mind, I haven't watched much Survivor in the new gen. Seasons 1 through 44 or 41 through 44 I didn't watch. These last three I've been part of and watched. Especially because I knew Jelinski on 46. I was really rooting for him. Rip the homie. But Survivor's a good show. It's not my favorite. I like the challenge, I think, more, but I think there can be ways Survivor can grow, and I appreciate it. I think it's a good show.
All right, bet. All right, ready for the meme one?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Who's better at Survivor, at least playing wise, you or Boston?
Okay. I would have to say. Damn it! I'm sorry. I'm in an org right now, and it is 3-3 at FTC with one vote left. And I know I cooked this guy in gameplay, and I'm about to lose, bro, because of my word choices at FTC. I can't believe this is happening. Okay, whatever, right? I actually can't believe it. Okay, between Boston and I, right?
Yeah.
Better at Survivor. It's difficult because I have not seen Boston play too much in Minecraft games. I've seen him play a lot more in Roblox. And Roblox, brother cooks in challenges. He's amazing at challenges. I think I would have to give it to Boston because I think Boston is more willing to. Boston has more guts and he's easily more willing to lie to people. And he has some crazy moves in the past. Like he really understands the game perfectly, and he's able to have a lot of great moves where he's easily willing to lie to people. We saw that in soccer season 2, and he's willing to do what it takes to win. And that's still something that I still have to resonate because I know so many people that it sometimes has a hold on my mind. I would have to say Boston, and I think he's done well with being in here for such a little amount of time.
All right. Next question. I'll ask one more question, or like the speed round or lightning round or whatever, and then I'll get into the last question that I ask everybody. Plus, just giving their time to like say anything that they want before we end it all. So my last question to you for like the lightning round is: did you think ever in your life playing in these games that you would meet up with people that you've played with or just known from like Skype and Discord?
Um, initially, probably not. I don't think I did initially. I did try to tell my friends at the time that, hey, I'm in this community with a lot of people. Uh-oh. One second, I gotta see. Oh, so I just lost an org.
Oh
Okay.
no, bro.
Okay. Whatever. I'm good. Um, so initially, no, I didn't think so. Um, I really thought I thought I would have good friends here, but again, I told some of my childhood friends about it. They kind of clowned me at school when I first told them back in seventh grade. Um, so I didn't, I wasn't sure. But as time went on, I really built these relationships with people, and I mean, it just it feels natural. Like I mean, at this point, I've known you since 2018. We were both young. Like I feel like I've
Mm.
grown up with you. I've grown up with a lot of people. It feels like, and all my friends, I feel like were my true friends. So I know I never thought that I would ever meet up with these people when I initially joined. But as time went on, I was like, like these are my true friends. They understand me for its entirety.
Yeah, I mean, we come on, we gotta do one at some point, Mason. I'm just saying.
Oh, we will.
We will. Oh, we will. Because we've done meetups with other people. We just haven't done it together.
I
You know what
know.
I'm saying? Like, we got to. We got to. It's got to happen.
Oh, it will happen.
It
Trust me.
will. Yeah, yeah, it will. It will. Trust the process. So now that we've done everything, it is time for the last question that I asked every other person who's done this before.
Mm.
And then after that, we'll conclude with whatever stuff you just want to say in general, like shout outs or stuff like that. So, my last question to you, big one here. I don't know. What is your future plans for the community? Are you considering retirement? Blah blah blah. What is your future plans for the community?
All right. Well, um, it's a good one to ask because I've been thinking about it for a while. I always thought about how cool would it be to make it to 10 years to 2025. I think that is my plan. I think my presence still within the community will be here. Like if people need help with recordeds, I probably will still be around. However, um, I do think when I graduate, I won't have as much time anymore. But even before thinking about that, a couple years ago, I told a host that I because at the time I was considering just retiring, not playing again. A couple years ago I was thinking I wasn't going to play again. It's always been on my mind. I only play about 1 or 2 games a year. So there's not, I don't have too much left in me to really play. I told the host a couple years ago that whenever they host their final season, if they do, they will be the last one to snuff my torch, and I do plan on sticking with that. At least I hope so. I mean, if I do poorly, I might have to do one more. But I told them that if I ended up doing well, they would snuff my torch, and that's how I would leave the community, or is how I would retire, is if they snuff my torch, because I feel like I've had a good connection with them. So yeah, I think that's kind of my goal, is to make it to that last game, and I mean I'd love to win, but if I get my torch snuffed by the person, great. Um, Again, I might be around for production. I don't know anymore. I'm kind of getting done with the org side right now. Uh, um, I will say I do want to host one more season over recorded. After that, I've told everybody I plan on doing one more of recorded. I'm done after that once that's done, because I think the idea for the final season that I want to do is a recorded. I can't wait to do that. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Retirement is coming soon.
All right. So with that, congratulations, you finished! Yeah.
Hey.
Hey. So now what I do with everyone who's done this is I give you time to say whatever you want about the community or like stuff we just didn't address that you wanted to say, or just shout outs in general. So whatever you want to say is up to you. Your time starts now.
All right. Well, for those who have been with me ever since the beginning, I appreciate it. Whether you like me, whether you don't, I've had such a great time being in this community ever since I was 12 in 2015. I have no regrets. I've met my brothers for life, my family, and I still have a lot more people that I want to meet and hang out with, because it's just, a lot of people here mean family to me. You guys, we all understand each other. We all came here for Survivor. We all love the game of Survivor, to watch Survivor. So there's no reason to spread hate and hate each other. Like, we're all here for the same reason. Like, we're all loving of each other, and I think I've really appreciated that. I've had, I think, out of anyone in the community, with where I've been and how many games I've played, I've probably met the most people. So I've been super thankful to have had these journeys across the last 9.5 years. Man, I'm excited for what's to come, because there is some things coming out that I'm super excited for. But whenever that last chance for me to be to end it all with my career, to end it all with my career, I should say. Whenever that last chance may be, I appreciate everyone who has rooted for me, watched me, kept up with the host and production. Keep on supporting everybody. This community, I hope, survives as long as I'm around, but we'll see what happens there. So yeah, it's been a long 9.5 years, but I would not take it back for anything.
All right, and with that, thanks Mason for coming on. Appreciate it. You're the first person that decided to do this. I DM'd other people, but we'll see what happens there. So thanks for doing this. I'll say what of course. I'll say what I used to say back when I used to do these things. If you want to do this with me, feel free to DM me. Unfortunately, this time there's no guarantee that I will do it with you, because this, in my eyes, is going to be a short-term type of thing compared to what I did for like a long-term type of thing. So no promises that I'll put you on it. If you want, just DM me still. You never know. But I'm not going to be doing this for a while. My plan is just to do only 4 or 5 of these and then move on with my life again. But yeah, feel free to DM me. I'll try to respond best as I can. I'm notoriously known for not responding to DMs usually. So yeah. But other than that, I'll see you in the next one. Look out for my season 4 when it comes out. And yeah, we'll see ya. We'll see ya.
I hope with that one.
Oh, yeah, you did help with that. Okay, you know what I'm saying? All right.
I'll be